Maokai Jungle has a 67% win rate at Worlds so far in the play-ins. He has a pretty high presence too. I think it's 58% that he's in the draft. And so we're going to look at some of the gameplay to see what's making him so successful. He's kind of emerged as an important pick at early on. We didn't really know exactly how that was going to work out. And so we're watching Razork play it in his Bootcamp. So this is a master tier game where he is picking it up. And he's kind of emerged out of not necessarily nowhere with the buffs and the changes that came about, which we'll talk about a little bit. We'll see how that affects his gameplay. Some of those that were most notable are probably the missile speed of his ultimate. Really changes how you can play Maokai in the late game and the utility that he has there. And so we'll look at how the team fighting changes and the really objective control, I think, is a lot of the reason why he's being picked. And we'll see how Razork kind of does that in solo queue games. So in the lanes here, we have, the Bruiser versus Bruiser top lane, and then bot lane, he has pretty good setup with the Leona, and I expect they might be getting pushed in. And so he's going for this start up here in the top side. He didn't put any saplings down. He went with the Q start, and I think there actually is a better start, especially on this side of the map, that has been kind of shown by Phalaris. So Phalaris recently released that, and I don't know if the pro players have caught on to that yet, that he could do I think 317 clear leashless and be pretty healthy, obviously, from the top side. And so I think he's going to go from top side down into bottom. He's just going to get his red buff here and then go down and look for that. And I believe he knows the new start. Actually was not looking. I didn't see if he saw the leash from the other team or not. If they did a leash, or if Nunu just went leashless or was AFK. I saw some disconnecting there. And I think the saplings are a pretty big change that has come through, that I think that they've actually been buffed twice in 12-17 and 12-18, and they scale with percent max health and the damage they do, and they also have some AP scaling as well. So he's doing a double camp here. I think he's going to have the second smite charge up. Bot lane isn't looking super diveable though, and so we might see him just go in for this scuttle, and if he knows Nunu is top, he could hover around there. They might be able to crash this bot wave and bounce it back for a gank timer. If they can get that pushed in and then let it slow push out, it will be gankable after Scuttle Crab if they do that. It does eventually crash. So for now, he's going in for a little invade to get some information. And the spammability of the saplings is really nice, that they give a ton of vision control for no cost. And they last even longer when they're put in brushes versus when they're just put out in the middle of nowhere. And so they could last a long time, and they give you good vision if the jungler comes through there. And that's especially important as you get into the later stages of the game around objectives. They can give really, really good information there. And the slow can be super, super annoying to deal with. He's going back up into top side, going to full clear back down into bottom. He's basically going to just have a full clear top to bottom again. And that's what I expect him to do. Recognizing this bot lane is pretty good. Zed, unless he uses his shadow, I think it might be a little bit tough to get that gank off, even though Singe does have a little bit of setup. Top lane is just... Wukong doesn't really bring anything to the table in terms of the setup. But this is not quite what I was expecting from Razork, that you would expect to see kind of some spam ganking. There's the top lane gank, killing the Wukong for first blood pretty late in this solo queue game. But the spam ganking style is actually super viable for Maokai, just because he has so much crowd control immediately as soon as he has two abilities. His QW, he has tons of lockdown straight off. Now he's going in for the counter jungle. There's no camps up, but he goes in to check it because he knows Nunu was top, and then reset and won't be down here for a little bit, get some deep vision. And now he is looping back around to mid, or he's just going to take this. Yeah. So doing some counter jungling since Nunu shot on the top side. He has vision down and enough priority, I think, in mid and top, mid and bot, excuse me, to be able to do this somewhat safely. And his clear is fast. So he's rotating over to this play. I think he's going to be a little bit late. Yeah, forced flash out. I don't think that they can turn this. I think it's a little bit too late. And that's a play that he probably could have. Singe's roaming over. Yeah, they just hard commit onto the Nunu, pick him out. That's pretty good. That's a heads up play from Singed. He rotates over before the Zed does. Is this a potential dive angle here? I don't think that Leona Ashe are healthy enough for that right now. So he's just going to help them crash in this wave. And he has bot camps. Also, the Dragon is up. Scuttle is up. Not sure if the bot lane wants to stick around. They don't have items yet, so they have a lot of gold to send. Ashe has 1,300, so she probably wants to reset for Noon Quiver to get back in lane. So he isn't forcing them to stay and help him with the Drake for now, just taking the advantage that they have. So that was good. I think it could have been anticipated that Nunu was going to come down. It was weird that Nunu didn't show up on vision a little bit sooner, so you could anticipate that there was a lane gank. He probably could have headed down there sooner to counter it on a better timer than what he had. I think that it was kind of suspicious, but now with Nunu going into top, I think this is the timer that they'll look for Drake. Most likely, he might take his wolves first to make sure they're on the same timer. And we'll see if he goes in for the Drake to kind of take advantage of the Nunu going top. But I guess he won't. It's looking like he's headed up into his top side, going to continue his full clear. He's farming pretty well. I mean, Nunu disconnected early on, but then is and I don't know why he doesn't put it in the bush there. I guess it starts the camp a little bit sooner, so it kind of brings them out. So it's a little bit better from a speed standpoint. But you don't get the bonus damage from the bush. I think you'd probably have to look at the numbers to see what's more efficient, because I don't know if you can throw it in the bush and actually start the camp from there. I don't know if it will aggro the Raptors if it's just thrown in the bush, if there's any place. I'll have to go back and look at the clear more closely. So now the reset, and he hasn't taken Krugs, which is interesting. He's kind of just ignored it this whole time. Probably just isn't worth the time commitment, because it's a long animation between every clear of the Krugs. But now he's just running straight back down. He got 6. And it's not super early to be getting 6, almost 8 minutes. Going to be headed out to look for the first team fight. So we'll get to see how he uses the ultimate, and the increased speed is really nice. That it speeds up over the duration of the spell. And also if it hits somebody, then Maokai gets increased movement speed, which is really nice because he wants to get in and start disrupting and start the engage. He wants to be the first person in there. And he has his first kind of minor component with the Bambi Cinder. So I think that he'll probably be going for either the is it Frostfire, the slowing tank item. I should know this. I'm a tank jungler. So the Frostfire, or for the Sunfire. And I'd be setting up this dive next wave, most likely. They need to get that wave under turret, so Ashe is just going to be hitting that. Singed is coming over also. He's kind of spotting out the Nunu, make sure that they don't have that. And we'll see if Ashe leads it off or how they do that. Ashe ult is up right now, so she just sent it, and I don't know if it hit it, but just so tanky. And then Singed comes in and tanks. Oh, they trade. That's a bummer. You kind of hope that they don't have to trade when they have a 4v2. Nunu came in late, so he didn't really contribute anything to that fight. I think it might have been a little bit cleaner if Leona stayed to help push the wave. If she had like a stack to take the cannon, I think that could have sped it up, given them a better timer. Because when you have a dive that's so played out and so slow like that, and they know it's coming, it gives a lot of time for mistakes to happen and for the rest of their team to respond and come over. So it's a little bit slower than what you'd like to see. But it still works just because of how much crowd control they have between Leona and Maokai. Don't think they can get on that Nunu. He's pretty fast. After he got the scuttle, gets the speed shrine, and Razork has not gone top at all. So he's just identified the lane that he wants to play around, and he's been doing that. He's just been spam, basically clearing a lot and then clearing towards his bottom side so that he's there if there is a play around. Jax is a little bit out. Leona's roaming over, so we'll see if this is a fight they want to take, but they just get a free pick on Singed. Ashe's free clearing bottom, so if he can live, this might be worth it if she could get some plates. Flash over, blast cone. This is going to be a close one. Has to burn the ult to get out. Not the end of the world. They're going to trade Herald for whatever Ashe gets on the bottom side. But if she can get more than 2 plates right away, I mean, this could be just fine. It's not the end of the world for them. Let's see what she's doing now in there. Yep, 2 plates. There you go. Not too bad. While Nunu takes the Herald. Leona wants to turn this. Jax no flash, so they don't have enough cooldowns though. He does end up getting the kill. I don't know what the kill was with. If that was a sapling that he put in the bush or what. I missed it. All right. So things are starting to open up, and they did pull them off of the Herald, which is kind of nice. They didn't give that up. But I think the blue side is kind of just fumbling a little bit. They're up in kills, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're super far ahead. And now we are back on the map, headed back into the bot side. And he has the Hex Flash, so he just Hex Flash over that wall. I don't know if that's been kind of the primary item or primary rune that's been gone on Maokai in the in Champions Queue or in the games that we're watching. But definitely has been Aftershocks the #1 rune. I don't know if anybody has gone. I think Phase Rush is a potential another one, but I don't know if they've been going that. That's probably just for the harder teams to stick on that have a little bit more kiteability for him to be able to make sure that he can close the gap, get his W down, and misfortune, that is not where you want to be. Yeah, she's gonna be in trouble. They burned 2 ultimates, but I think that almost guarantees them to get this turret. And almost guarantees first turret because Singed has the wave pushed in all the way top. And we'll see if they turn that into Drake as well and kind of what they get out of that. And he's always counter jungling. I mean, he doesn't take his Krugs, but if they get a kill, they go take the enemies camps that are up. They're giving Ashe the solo plates here, so she just gets to grab those solo, and he is starting up this dragon now as they want to make sure that they get that. 2 people showing mid. I think they kind of have an idea that Nunu is up there. They have vision down to make sure that he doesn't get to snowball in onto Ashe, so they most likely know that he's on the top half of the map. And he's just soloing this. He does have, I think, pretty decent dragon time. I mean, his sustain is good, so if he has enough time, it's no problem for that. It hurts a little bit that the team didn't come over to help. That would have been a little bit faster. But that's life. That's life as a jungler. Your ADC is going to stay in lane, and they're going to keep getting plates and getting gold if it's up there. But they don't get all of the plates in bot side. I think Leona was kind of walking around, but they maybe didn't get as much as they could have out of that. The good news is that the Rift Herald, I think, was taken. Wait, I don't remember when Rift Herald was taken. I'm asleep at the wheel here. And I don't think it was converted. It wasn't converted in the first turret because no turrets have gone down yet. So that's good news. If they did trade the Herald for the Drake, the blue side team wasn't able to get a lot of turret plates out of it. So up in, let's see, 14 CS, he does get the Frostfire Gauntlet. I was right. It is the Frostfire Gauntlet. I'm not losing my mind. And Lucidity Boots, which is kind of interesting. He doesn't want the CC. There's not a ton of crowd control that they have, so I meant Merc Treads. So he doesn't really need the Merc Treads for that. Wow, Zed just barely gets out. Oh, is that a WQ? Yeah, I think that was the WQ. So he W'd onto Nunu and then Q'd to get the kill onto Zed. That was pretty cool. Now going into counter jungle again. It is like clockwork. Every time they get a small kill, small advantage, he is going in to get to get some more out of it. Now, Nunu is super low. Yeah, he can't really contest that. And there's no ultimate available, so he's probably just waiting. His team is all in base. If their bot lane rotates over, he could just die here. A little bit risky. Don't love that, but I think it's a little bit greedy to go for the red buff on top of it, but probably limit testing a little bit, seeing what he can get away with. And also, he's just keeping an eye on the mini map to see when Misfortune and Sona move over so that he knows when he has to leave. So he probably has a decent idea of the timer, how long he has until he's in danger. Now, this won't be first turret, but again, he's staying on the side of the map that he's designated as the strong side. From his first clear all the way through, it's been very bot-centric, and he is still down here, hovering them, making sure that they get the turret, and they trade off. Basically, Wukong is pretty far behind, but that was all according to plan, based on his game plan from the first clear. Now, is this a fight that they want to turn? Ashe has ultimate available. Is she going to send it in and chain this potentially? Misfortune going down. Ashe is just in Narnia. Don't know what she's doing. It seems kind of weird. She has ultimate available, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah, I guess she just didn't want the fight. She just didn't want it. Simple as that. ADC didn't want to go. She doesn't go. There's definitely turn potential. I think they could have killed the Sona faster than maybe gotten onto the Misfortune quicker, prevented her from getting a good ultimate off. But it was just two tanks. Like, they aren't going to kill anybody when it's two tanks against the 4-man from the other team. Wukong going in. He's a little bit weak, but Ashe arrow in while Nunu is under turret. Can they get that kill? Yeah, they're going to pick that up. Nothing on the map really to get right now. Maybe mid turret is kind of the only one up, and so I expect they'll probably rotate their bot lane up into mid to get that turret. No objectives for a little bit right now, and he's just clearing the camps until those timers sync up when everybody's around an objective. But they're pretty spread out for the time being. This is a long lane. I don't think he's going to get that Jax. Singed was not quite there to be able to follow up on anything. And Drake will be the next one. So Drake and mid turret is what he's going to be pathing towards. Maybe he wants an item before this. He's sitting on, oh, never mind. Only like 550 gold. He doesn't really need to reset right now. But has the one item, then looks like he's also going for the Frozen Heart after this. And one item that I really like on Maokai is the Anathema's Chains, just the synergy of the health that he gets. Tons of health, gets super tanky, and also the damage scaling that comes with his health, as well as the decreased tenacity for his target, for the Vendetta. That is super useful for Maokai, who all he has to do is be in proximity of his mark's target, and they have less tenacity, and they're going to get CC'd more, and not going to be able to move. So it just increases his lockdown, really plays on his strength. And here we see he's long range engage here. Ashe is kind of walking over, but then they just bait out the TP. Singed is not here to join. And so this might be the disengage. He flashes over. Now Singed is walking. Let's see if they do a re-engage here. Probably not. There's nothing to fight for. And so I would have liked to see them a little bit closer. They might be able to get a pick off of that, but Ashe wasn't there, Singed wasn't there. It's pretty hard to get that. It's possible that they were just trying to bait out the teleport, which they did successfully. They're going to get this cleanup kill. Zed kind of greeds for the turret. They're trading for the Rift Herald if the other team can finish it before it despawns. Oh yeah, they got that. They got that pretty easily. And now he knows they're top. So again, every single time, it's counter jungling when he knows that it's available, that it's free. And he's taken the enemy's Krugs probably 3 times more than he's taken his own Krugs in this game. And he's getting the saplings deep in here. Ultimate over, so he sees something going on. Super long range. That's from like 4 screens away. That's just great I mean, he has really good awareness that when he sees a fight, he knows the distance, and he could just send it over to make sure that actually in that instance, it prevented a re-engage from the Nunu Misfortune, which was really nice because they were going to get the Sona kill regardless, but it kept the fight from going further. He might be left out, but super tanky. Maybe with some passive. No, he's going to go down eventually, but he saves the Leona just dips. She doesn't need to die too. Kind of in the wrong place. He took a greedy recall. Like, I don't know why you're recalling right here. That's not really limit testing. That's just inting at that point. When you know that they're coming off reset and your laners don't really want to help you out, and you used all your cooldowns to get a pick before. And this is smart. The other team is just going for the Baron push right now while the Maokai is dead. There were some cooldowns down, but Wukong still has ultimate, but he's pretty far behind. It's looking pretty decent. Ashe is still free hitting. And there you go. Yeah, they were able to figure out the fight. I guess the cooldowns burnt earlier were enough that they could just push and kite out the fight. I think it is a little bit hard for the other team to get onto Ashe if she's spacing well. And if she's staying far enough away, it can be a little bit tough. And I don't think Zed had ultimate available there to actually get on her. So that was just a really good skirmish. Oh, she barely lives there. And they turn it into the first Baron of the game. And so there you go. The Frozen Heart is now finished. And then this might be... Okay, so he goes for the Oblivion Orb to get some heal cut, which... I'd say it makes sense with the Nunu and the Sona. I don't know how much they're going to be hitting him. Or I guess if he has enough AoE that he can probably proc the Oblivion Orb. I'm thinking of when he goes for... actually, would that be Morello? Yeah, I guess it would probably be Morello because I don't know what else he can do. He's not going to go Kimtech. Now he doesn't have ults available, so he's rotating over. I think that he's just going to zone off, get some saplings down, get some wards down, spot out any flanks from the other team to make sure that they're able to set up this siege. Just vision control. The Maokai is so annoying when you get saplings all over the map in the enemy jungle. It's hard to deal with. Now Zed is walking over. Yeah, just look at that. That is so annoying. That's like, I think it's a 45% slow for 2 seconds. Not fun. Not fun to deal with at all. And if you've played against it, you know. Here comes the ult turret dive. Ashe doesn't have arrow to follow up, but Sona is just going to die. I mean, even if he gets CC'd, even if he eats Sona ult under turret, he's so tanky now. That is just fine. That's a great cancel. He used the Q to cancel the Nunu channel, so he didn't get full value out of that. And just great frontliner. We're really seeing how disruptive this Maokai can be. Incredibly tanky. He's going to redive, tanking again. And does he... I think he's going to trade his life for that, maybe? Yeah, trades his life, but they pick up 5 kills. They do convert the Zed kill off of that. And then I think it's also going to be the Drake pretty soon here. It's going to be 15 seconds. And the support is pinging it out. Love support players. They always got their eyes on the timers as well. It's not only junglers. Supports can do it too. I love it. Love to see it. So here's going to be their second Drake Hex Tech, which I think it's pretty nice. Oh, no. Wait, how did Nunu not get that? I guess they body blocked the Q. That feels bad. That feels so bad. Really feel for the guy. I've been there before. Flash in, there's no smite, not contested, but you just can't make it happen. That's a very bad feeling. We'll see if they go contest this mid turret here, if they're able to keep that alive. But it's very clear what his role is in these team fights as he goes into the flanks onto the side and he gets vision control and puts down saplings. That is really how they're playing it. And he mixes that in with some counter jungling. You gotta steal some camps while you're at it, of course. it looks like they're going to go try and collapse on this Jax. And the rest of their team did kill 2. So they aren't really threatened right now during their siege. So they're going to potentially kill this Jax in the side lane. We'll see if he has to use ultimate or chooses to use ultimate. Yep. There it goes. And pretty easy kill right there. He had to use the ultimate to make sure they got that. But the cooldown, it's really short right now. It's like 50 seconds. So it's not too big of a commitment. That's going to be up for every single fight that you take. And it's such an impactful team fight tool. And he's using it really well. So we'll see him go into a quadrant of the jungle next to where his team is, next to a siege or a potential skirmish that's breaking out, and just puts down saplings and then ults over to the fight and then comes in and joins the fight from the side. And it's really, really hard for the other team to deal with. And I think this does particularly well when there's another tank and another form of engage on your team, like the Leona. So she's able to stick with the team and make sure they aren't engaged on beforehand. Like the other team, if it was a Sona support, then they could just engage before the Maokai is able to cut them off. If that makes sense, that having the extra form of engage and the extra tank there for frontline, that they can't just straight up engage on your 4 teammates or on your 3 teammates. And so it gives you time to set up that flank ultimate. And is he just going to solo kill this? No, he won't solo kill the Zed. He did throw a sapling on the clone though. That was pretty cool for the little bit of slow there. Yeah, sapling on the clone again. Oh, that would have been the best way to kill that Zed. Does he have ultimate? Is not available. So right when I said that it's available for every fight, unless you literally just used it. And they're going to pick up another kill. Wukong is back in the game. So he had a really rough start, but did a great job of kind of salvaging what was his rough lane phase, and is now a factor. He's picking up kills, getting back into the game. And they lost the Ashe, but they're at least going to get the turret, possibly the inhibitor here, the second inhib of the game. And then the next dragon, I think, should be coming up in a little bit, that they can look to get to Soul Point pretty soon here. Inhibitor number 2. If I know Razork, he's going to take this red buff. He has been a menace when it comes to counter jungling. And the Nunu is down 45 CS, just has not been able to get his camps because they've been counter jungled very, very consistently by Razork. And I don't think he needs to reset. Well, 1,600 gold. Not sure if he's even going to finish the Morello. He built the Oblivion Orb earlier. I think he's just getting that. But then finished Spirit Visage. And here comes the full Morello. I guess he is going to finish it. He doesn't want to just sit on the Oblivion Orb forever. And keep the last inventory spot open for control wards, but he must not have had any gold for that. The team already started up the Baron, pretty easy, uncontested, and Jax is in the mid lane, and so I think it's a green light. Ashe Arrow goes in. They're gonna pick up the Zed, maybe? No, not quite. So Singe got a little bit ahead of the rest of the team there. And I think this is probably time to run away until the Wukong can join in. And they're now pinging out the Drake. So they don't get to set up the siege that they wanted. Singe just got way ahead of everybody. And so instead, they're going to push out this mid wave, make sure that it gets into the base, and then walk over and take the Drake, most likely, to set up Soul Point. And right as I say that, they're going to keep sieging. Singe doesn't have TP, so they're committing to the 4v5. They do see misfortune in the bot side. Somebody has to catch those waves at the Nexus turrets, and they're going in. Ashe no arrow, so this is actually just for the turret at first. He's tanky enough that he can stay in there for a little bit. Ashe gonna do a lot of work when she has that front line. She gets dove in on, and Maokai's living forever. Ashe survived the Zed dive though, and so I think that they just turn this. Yeah, they still have plenty of cooldowns. If they couldn't kill Ashe, then they have no access. If Zed can't, find that kill, so this is probably going to be the end of the game. And it's been really kind of gives you understanding watching the gameplay of why it's so strong in Worlds in a team setting where you can get tons of zone control with the saplings, with the ultimate. And I think there is a pick that is going to potentially come up and be the counter to this. And I'm going to do a gameplay on that. And so I'll actually pin this right here. If you want to see the pick that I think could potentially be the answer to Maokai Jungle, you're definitely wanting to check that out next.